now this thing that I'm writing, I mean, I took the Tao Te Ching, a famous book written 2,500 years ago, and wrote my interpretations of it in a book when I turned 65, 8 years ago. And now, I have a place on Maui, and I had 4 things that I had to do. I had to stop at the Safeway to get some gift cards, because I was going to see my kids. I had to stop at the bank to get some cash, because I was going to see my kids. I have to have lots of cash for that. I had to stop at the vitamin store because I wanted to pick up some supplements because I was going on this trip, and this is a part of that trip. And I wanted to stop at another store that sells something called poke, which is this wonderful Hawaiian food that I love. And then I was going to come back to where I was going home. But instead, my car actually drove me. I wasn't driving. I don't even know how to say this. I was just...
You were inspired to behavior that wasn't coming from your conscious mind.
Right.
Because you were in vibrational accord with broader perspective, who knows who you really are and where you really meant to go.
Okay. So it took me to Barnes & Noble. Okay? And I'm at Barnes & Noble, and I'm walking into Barnes & Noble, and I'm halfway out of the car, and all of a sudden, what am I doing here at Barnes & Noble? I got to get back home. I got a flight to catch. And I'm over to, and I'm going to take another classic text that's called the Bhagavad Gita that was written, again, 2,500 or so years ago.
Now fast forward for a little bit and imagine being in the clarity that you're in now, walking through Barnes & Noble and knowing that there's something really important there for you, feeling that sort of clarity about it.
Right.
In other words, you stumbled into it and you knew it when you saw it, but wouldn't you like that clarity every step of the way?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yes.
But not every step.
Yeah.
But a lot of them. A lot more of them than I used to.
Right.
So there I am looking through various things on the Bhagavad Gita because it's just been a calling. I just think that this ancient text has been misinterpreted in so many ways. And there's...
Like all ancient texts.
Yeah. Okay.
Give it up.
And then...
You have access to source energy now.
Okay.
Right now. All of you.
But I want to ask you something from there. Okay. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it's a simple story of Arjuna, this man who's getting ready to go to battle, and his...
Low-flying disc.
Right. And his charioteer turns out to be Krishna, turns out to be source energy, God. All right,
no,
whatever.
not on a low-flying disc.
Well, in the Gita. All right? Yeah. So he's being given this advice about I am, and so much of it is in alignment with what you say, but there's a point in there that has so troubled me because I've read the entire Bhagavad Gita 3 times now in the last couple of months, and I don't even know why. I just keep reading it and going through it and taking notes on it and writing, and it's like I even know the date that I'm going to start the writing and so on. It's all...
Maybe it's because the original authors would like to help you clear it up and write it the way it was meant to be heard. Maybe, I don't know. It's just, but there is a point where he's ready to go to battle, and he has said that this is his duty. And Krishna, source energy, supposedly God, says to him, go and do your duty. If it means killing people, then that's your duty because you don't get to kill anybody. I take all life. I'm responsible for all life. And he goes off into battle, to do his duty. My question to you, Abraham, is... do we have duties, that involve doing things that are inconsistent with divine love? Do we? Never. But when you're on the low-flying disc, what you hear sounds like a message. In other words, now here's how it works. So let's say that you get on the disc of revenge or worry or insecurity, and you stay there for a while, and you read online about it, and you talk with other people about it. So you get a lot of momentum going. So, and the key word here is you get a lot of momentum going. So there is a frequency, the frequency of despair, the frequency of orneriness, the frequency of hope, the frequency of love. There's a frequency. These are the different discs. But once you spend a little bit of time on a disc, law of attraction provides momentum. So when you get on that disc of revenge and you talk with others about it and you fan the flames of your dysfunction and your how you've been wronged, and others join you, and the momentum gets very, very strong. Eventually, enough momentum happens that you feel what feels like an inspiration to act. It's momentum. It's the force of something that is moving in the direction that it has been moving. But we promise you, you never get that kind of momentum from source energy. So source never joins you on the revenge disc, ever. But we can see how it feels like it, because the revenge sure felt better than being taken advantage of, and it sure felt better to overtake them than to be overtaken by them. But there is another way, you see. And if you're on that disc, then you're not even playing that game.
And so there's a lot of people who are living their lives doing things that are just my job. But in fact, their jobs involve a lot of violence, a lot of hatred, a lot of killing, a lot of things that are inconsistent with higher awareness, higher consciousness, and justifying it on the basis of what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, which is, this is your duty. You don't get to take life. I take all life, and all life is given by me, speaking as God or Source.
We are not taking issue with anything that anyone decides that they want to do. We're not saying that behavior is wrong while another behavior is right. But we are saying, unless you are in sync with the source within you, the behavior that you're offering isn't inspired, it's motivated. It's not coming from source, it's coming from the spin-off of man's conscious mind. In other words, source would never guide you to negative behavior toward any other. And if you feel that you're being guided toward negative behavior toward others, you've just got momentum going on a lower flying disc. And
well, one soldier a day commits suicide
because he is off the trajectory of who he really knows himself to be. He can't bear that behavior.
So
here's what we would do. So here you stand, you're listening in on this, all of you, and we're having a very in-depth, truly leading-edge conversation about it. And so you think about soldiers who are doing their duty, and you want to feel patriotic, and you want to appreciate them for their sacrifices, and you appreciate the things that they're doing on behalf of your nation. Well, those feelings feel good to you when those are good feeling thoughts. So that's the aspect of that you want to focus upon. So let's say that you are aware that negative behavior, truly awful things, are happening to people in villages somewhere.
Right.
And when you focus upon it, it takes you to your knees, because it is such a departure from who you really are. So what do? Do you hide your head in the sand? Do you condemn those who are doing it? Or do you let this contrasting experience help you define what you want, and do you then line up with that? So do you then begin telling the story of a world that is more compassionate, of a world that is understanding more clearly who they are, of a world where all children are eating, where children are waking up and feeling secure in their own beds, where parents are waking up and understanding that the world is big enough for all of them. In other words, you can beat the drum of dysfunction, and it is an easy thing to do in this world with all of this media. But it never feels good to you when you do it. And you have choices that if you will make them, you will discover your true power. Because one who's connected to the stream is more powerful than millions who are not, you see.
Oh, it's so true.
So if you hold yourself in a vision of what you want relative to whatever is happening with this war or with this experience, and you are able to find yourself in sync with Source, you'll feel inspiration. And the thing that is most important is that without even going, without even sending your dollars, you are trading in a vibrational currency. And when you sync up with Source, and you hold those things as your object of attention, people who are there, who are also tired of that, who know that this isn't the answer, may have an opportunity of picking up on that path of least resistance that you have carved out, and an idea is born within them, you see.
I see a lot of that. I mean, I get a lot of mail and so on from people who are in that.
You can change the world, but the world doesn't need to be changed. And that seems like a paradox. But if you believe the world needs to be changed, and so you're efforting, now you're preventing your alignment with the source that allows you the goods in order to change it. And so you have to work yourself into alignment and then get on the high-flying disc and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.